Powered by Riverside FM.
A lot of people have been speculating that the Minnesota Vikings are going to make a move here. They've got about $23 million left in the cap for the 2025 season. So it could be a situation where they add a piece next week, a couple of weeks from now, next month, right before the season. You never know. But they have a lot of salary cap flexibility still left. And the way I look at it is, I think when you have that amount of money, I don't think you go in to spend the last dollar, but you wait and see what happens in training camp. Teams are always making roster adjustments. Players get cut. Players ask for trades. So you want to have that flexibility going into the season. And I think that's what my guy, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, is doing with that last $23 million. You know, we've heard names bantied about, Jalen Ramsey. We've heard Asante Samuel. Personally, the neck injuries with Asante Samuel really concerned me. I don't know if I would take a flyer on him. Jalen Ramsey may be a little bit too rich for our blood, so to speak. So who knows what route Kwesi Adofo-Mensah will take, but I trust him. I trust him. If there's a move out there to be made, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah has proven that he's willing to go out there and make those moves. So that $23 million, although I think they will use it by the time the season starts, how much of it, I don't know. But I don't think there's a rush or a panic to use that money. Now, here's a situation that a lot of people really don't realize. Next year, the Minnesota Vikings, they have some salary cap concerns. As of right now, where things are with the purple, they're going to be over the cap probably in a range of about $55 million to about $60 million over the cap. The great thing about it, the way a lot of these contracts are built, the Minnesota Vikings are able to get out from under a lot of those dollars, and they're able to reconstruct a lot of those dollars. If you look at their free agency the past couple of years, they really haven't signed a whole lot of guys for big money, multi-year deals where they get strapped. Like the biggest free agent signing this past offseason was Will Fries. He signed the longest term deal. Will Fries is someone that's going to be a staple of our offensive line at that guard spot. So when I look at him, I think it's a great deal. I think it's just right. But a lot of the guys that they've signed, short-term deals that they can get out from under. Now, what this means, there's a couple things. Being that much over the cap, the Minnesota Vikings draft picks, they've got to start hitting now. And it's not just about J.J. McCarthy's rookie contract. It's about having players that can come in, whether it's a guy like Kobe King, what have you. Some of these players, they got to start hitting. So now you're getting impactful players that are producing, and you don't have to pay them top dollar. See, the whole free agency thing only goes so far. And right now, we don't have a track record of a lot of our draft picks hitting. So we're plugging holes with really, really good guys that have a lot of production, UP Nation, but guys that come at a more of a premium cost, so to speak, than guys that come out of college that make an impact that are under that rookie scale contract. So you can only build through free agency so much. You've got to have that balance. Unless you have great scouts and you hit home runs all the time when it comes to drafting players, I don't think you can strictly build by the draft. I mean, you've got to be really, really good in terms of having an eye, or you got to be really, really lucky. So that balance has got to be there. I think it's safe to say most of us agree out there, UP Nation, Skull Nation, Purple Gang, that my guy Kwesi Adofo-Mensah has done a stellar job when it comes to Minnesota Vikings free agency. I don't think anybody can dispute that. You could argue he brought in the best free agency class probably in the history of the NFL in terms of impact. You had two guys in Van Ginkel and Sam Darnold that were mentioned at some point during last season in the MVP category. And then the amount of guys that just produced throughout the season that were newbies or free agents coming into the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, man, you can't dispute how strong Kwesi has been in that category, where he deserves a little bit of critique, and he shouldn't get killed for it, but he deserves a little bit of critique, is his draft picks. His draft picks have not been stellar. He's lost a lot of players that he thought would pan out that haven't panned out, and we've had to circumvent those positions with free agency that costs a little bit more extra money, if you hear what I'm saying, UP Nation. So 2026 is going to be interesting because I think it puts us in a position where we're going to have to make some tough decisions, especially if some of our draft picks hit. Tough decisions, like the whole Danielle Hunter, letting him go, letting Kirk Cousins go. I don't see us long-term keeping a Van Ginkel and a Grenard and a Dallas Turner. If Dallas Turner hits this year, which I expect for him to do, I expect Dallas Turner to have a stellar year, UP Nation. Then that makes Van Ginkel and Grenard a little bit more expendable because the Minnesota Vikings are going to have to get under that cap. They can't be $50 million to $60 million over the cap because your luxury is J.J. McCarthy being under that rookie scale contract. So decisions are going to have to be made. They're going to have to trim the fat on some of these contracts. They're going to have to restructure some of these contracts. And this is the game that you play when you have to build through free agency. So that balance has to be there. And I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to do that. I think a lot of these draft picks, especially from this draft, they're going to start to hit. Obviously, last year's draft and Dallas Turner and J.J. McCarthy, we expect for those to hit. But we got to get more of those guys giving great production under a rookie scale contract. So 2026, although it's not a crisis, it's not a super daunting job. It's just going to be one of those jobs that it's going to be kind of an annoyance because depends on what happened with this season. You're still steadily going to have to try to build a team to surround J.J. McCarthy with. This is the first phase. Next year, 2026 season is going to be the second phase. Then the 2027 season is going to be the third phase. And I think that 3-year window that I always talk about in terms of the Minnesota Vikings, making that big playoff run, making that Super Bowl run, a lot of it comes from how are we going to circumvent that salary cap, especially being over next year, 2026 season. It's going to be interesting to watch. Draft picks has got to hit. It is a daunting, not a super daunting task, but a task nonetheless. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Put your comments down. Are you worried about the 2026 season? Are you worried about the Minnesota Vikings being over the cap? Kwesi and Rob Brzezinski, these guys do a fantastic job. The capologists, really smart. They know how to navigate that and manipulate the salary cap. You know, kick some of that money down the road to be able to sign players in the present. I'm not worried, but it's definitely something that we have to be concerned about. Those draft picks have got to hit. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Put your thoughts down in the comments. Are you worried about the 2026 Minnesota Vikings being over the cap, or do you trust Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and Rob Brzezinski? Put your thoughts in the comments. You know I'll talk to you. This has been Unconventional Playbook, and we will make sure, as always, UP Nation, Skull Nation, Purple Gang, to see ya when we see ya. Skull.